eThekwini municipality is yet to receive the flood relief funds promised by government. Mayor Manqoba Mchunu says this is slowing down repairs and reconstruction. In the meantime, there's some reprieve for residents of Umzinyati. The municipality has handed over 2 houses in the area, but hundreds remain displaced. Our reporter Manqoba Mchunu joins us for more on this story. Manqoba, so the community of Umzinyati finally seeing some interventions. How was that received?
Well, only many of the residents, of course, are welcoming the intervention by the eThekwini Metro, of course, especially recipients who received those houses. They say that they have been living under squalor at some of the community halls. In fact, the lady that we spoke to earlier on saying that she has had no roof over her head for quite a few months. She has been staying at her neighbors, and it has been quite hard for them given the fact that their houses were destroyed by the floods. And so it came as a reprieve and a relief for some of those recipients. But of course, we do know, Andy, that there are many more of these residents here that are still displaced, that are still living in community halls. In fact, I think from what the local councillor told us is that there's still well over 500 people that are still homeless at this particular point. And so those community members, however, are still saying that they do need proper housing. There are also issues when it comes to the community halls that they've been staying in. You recall that last month we visited one of those community halls where community members essentially were raising issues that include the issue of food, that they were not getting enough food supply, but also just donations that they need on a daily basis to continue living in that particular shelter. But also many of them really pleading for some sort of dignity, saying that they haven't had dignity since they started living in these community halls. But the biggest concern, of course, is when exactly are they going to get housing? So there are still some problems, and most of the community members, of course, saying that they want to see some progress. And in fact, earlier on, they did express their frustrations at Mayor Manqoba Mchunu during that imbizo that was held in this community. Take a listen to what some of them had to say.
Abumnandi bathanda ukuhlala ehholo ayizibhlungu impilo esiphilayo sihlele emahholo sihlele nemndeni ingane ezincane ekuthi lapha lana mase sibheka usuthi uyabheka ubheka ukuthi kukhona ukulahlekelwa manje einganeni nakuthina abahlali sekukhona ukulahlekelwa ukuthi la sikhona impilo isuka phi igcinaphi. Kulomuzi ebengihleli kuona besilaliswa nezinkukhu zengahamba sengihlala kwenye indawo manje nalapho ngiyahlukumezeka ngoba ngiseduze nala ngidilikelwe khona ngihlezi ngibona inhliziyo yami iphatheke kabe ngikhala bengicela nje umeya ngathi ngangisiza ingibonela indawo yokuhlala ngoba namanje okuningi enginakho ngasizwa ngumfundisi nabazalwane.
Manqoba, what has the mayor said about when they expect that relief funding from government?
Well, Andy, at this particular moment, there's no certainty when exactly they will receive that funding. Of course, we recall, Andy, that there has been some finger pointing from both the national government as well as provincial and local government when it comes to this funding. We recall that the national minister of finance had indicated earlier on that there had been no applications that were made. That are of course disputed by the province as well as local government, who insisted that they'd made this application. There was also an issue about the forms that are not filled properly and the reason why these funds have been delayed. But we did pose that question to Mayor Manqoba Mchunu as to why these funds have not still been sent to the province. But he says at this particular point he's not sure why that is the case, but they are still waiting for those funds to arrive. But in the meantime, they are saying, Andy, that they are going to be reprioritizing some of their budgets within the city to try and deal with some of the rehabilitation and reconstruction projects. Of course, you'll know that there are quite a number of them due to the fact that there was over 500 million rand worth of damage in eThekwini municipality alone. So the mayor is saying that they're still waiting at this particular point, but however, he says that this has had an impact on the finances of the city, because he says reprioritizing these budgets will mean that they have to take money from somewhere in order to try and fix some of these problems. So take a listen to what he had to say to me earlier on.
We haven't received money as yet, and you know that the billion was told to be a billion for all the provinces in the country, so we'll await as to how much will be allocated to us. But we are not stopping our own working in the progress that we have achieved to ensure that we also review our own budgets and reprioritize budgets to focus on the damaged infrastructure.
Manqoba, disputes between national government and provincial government sounds like administrative bungling and ineptitude of the highest level. Surely community members must be sat with their hands in their hair in frustration that something like administration and forms is keeping them from relief funding that should be readily available to them.
Indeed, Andy, and in fact, some of the community members that we spoke to are really desperate. These are people that have been staying in these community halls, Andy, and they are hoping to go to their houses. We did speak to the mayor. He indicated that there has been some action since then. In fact, he says that there has been a team that has been sent to do assessments here in KwaZulu-Natal, but exactly when those fundings will come is still unclear for now. He says they are also still waiting for insurance payouts, but those two are still going to take time because they too still have to send assessors to come and assess some of the destruction that occurred in this province. So I guess for now it's still the residents that will continue to bear the brunt of this, but what the city is saying at this particular point is that they are working hard within the budget that they have to try and restore the city and to rebuild the infrastructure that was destroyed, and to try and perhaps give some dignity back to those communities who are still in community halls even now.
Thank you so much. That was reporter Manqoba Mchunu coming to us from eNCA.